don't let loose and everything and like step out of that comfort zone, whatever it may be, then you're gonna regret it later on. Because I know after my first year, I wanted to do more and kind of uh, involve myself more so that way I could actually feel like I did something. Because after my first year, the second year I was actually able to get up on stage, perform, I guess, with my team or council. And while I was very anxious and nervous, I feel I got a lot out of it and began to kind of like build resistance to like being on in front of a huge group, and that was something that was very out of my comfort zone. So I definitely would say to get out of your comfort zone and just do what you want to do, and kind of just let loose for sure.
So, hello, Juan Vera. Thank you so much for joining La Cima Memorias. Our first question is if you could just tell us a little bit about who you are and where do you come from?
So yeah, my name is Juan Vera, and I am from Longview, Washington. I use he/him pronouns. Um, and yeah, both my parents are Mexican. They come from Jalisco, Mexico. And I have four sisters, and I'm the middle child. Two of my oldest siblings have been to La Cima and have been JCs and SCs, and so we have our little like trio right now of the Veras trying to take over La Cima, is how Travis Ritter would say. um, but yeah, I was I was born here in the U.S. in Washington, as well as three of my sisters. My oldest sister was born in Autlan, Mexico. Um, but yeah, well, having only sisters, as many people think that's like chaotic, which it can be at times, but it's actually like a lot of, I guess, I I I really like just because I feel like I have more support, I guess. I have always wanted to have a brother, but I've learned to just love to have like like sisters over the years. So, um, and being the middle child, I kind of am, I don't want to say like the counselor or whatever, but like whenever I have, whenever my siblings feel like they want to talk about something, they usually like come to me and they're like, so this is what's going on. And also being the only guy in the family besides my dad, it can be challenging at times, but I mean it's overall it's not too bad just because I always get called the favorite child or the suck up, I guess, but that's more my little siblings, my younger siblings. But yeah.
So, how did you get to know about La Cima? I know you touched on your sister. So, who went to La Cima first and how did you hear about La Cima?
So my older sister Monica went to La Cima first. She was encouraged by Travis Reeder to go, and then from her went Esme, my second oldest sister, who went to La Cima, and then they all kind of told me, you should go to La Cima. It's a lot of fun. You'll really benefit from it, and I'm very glad I listened to them because one of the best times that you can ever have, really. I first went as a delegate my sophomore year. Was it my sophomore year? It was I was going to become a sophomore, so my the summer of my sophomore year. And after that, I went back. Before I was to be going to become a senior, I went again, and that was my second time as a delegate. And after that, I applied for the JC position, and yeah, that kind of just like went from there. And this would have been my third year as a JC, but you know, the whole COVID thing. So it was a huge step because I was very timid, a lot more timid than I am now. Back in the day, I was very shy. I was very quiet. Um, but like after a couple times going to camp, I started to like build more like I guess confidence in myself and started like to be more vocal. and I started taking more risks at camp. And so I thought, well, like, might as well try it out. Like, I've been in these leadership classes. Like, my leadership teacher has been like telling everyone to like apply for a JC position and like to just kind of keep like applying if we want to. And so, while it was a huge step, I felt like with everything that I had learned from like priors in La Cima and like from my leadership teacher, I felt like I had like built up enough skill to like kind of take it on. It's very stressful at first and kind of a lot to take in, but it was a lot of fun. And I felt like I grew a lot in like my leadership skills and like being able to actually talk for once. So yeah.
Can you tell me what La Cima means to you?
So La Cima means a lot to me, just because it kind of is the thing that, in a sense, uh, changed my life for the better. Um, Before going there, like I didn't really know what to expect. I know that like they talked about school and stuff, and that like you did some activities from what I had heard, and that was just another leadership camp. And I thought I would just try it out, seeing as how my siblings had such a great experience there. And um, I was kind of told to like keep pushing out of my comfort zone during the week, and by the end, I was in tears because it was such a great week. And and it kind of just taught me to kind of like pursue higher education kind of thing, like actually like have a plan, because I didn't really have a plan at the time of what I wanted to do. um, and from there I kind of decided, okay, I will have these future goals for myself. And I decided I wanted to go to UW. And from there I feel it kind of set I kind of set myself on a path where I actually wanted to kind of like where I actually wanted something in life, I guess. So I think it's kind of like what, in a sense, motivated me to like actually get after it and actually like pursue something more than just like the bare minimum.
Now, what is something that you took away with or you still use in your life that you got from La Cima?
Um, I I think the main thing is the part of just kind of being able to like actually work with a team really well. Because during this past year, I've been working with this what's it called? I work with this AmeriCorps kind of thing called Jumpstart, where we work with like little kids, little preschoolers, and like kind of get them ready for kindergarten. And we work with the kiddos for a whole year as a team. So we're on a team of 4 people, and I feel like La Cima kind of prepared me enough to like be able to lead that team. Or this year, I was able to lead it. And in years prior, to just kind of be able to actually like learn how to work as a team and like actually find ways to like get to know each other and like actually like build a strong enough relationship with my teammates. So I feel the main takeaway, I guess, from being at La Cima is the concept of teamwork and just being able to take risks and get out of your comfort zone whenever you feel you have kind of gotten too comfortable, I guess.
What is your best memory that you've made at La Cima?
Oh, the bailes, for sure. I am a terrible dancer, but I first that's where I kind of like learned how to more or less dance. um, but the bailes were definitely one of the most fun things to be a part of, and also the talent shows, because that's where I really kind of like stepped out of my comfort zone. Where one year I kind of like sung with one of the JCs, and another year I was just kind of like being at the mic, and which was very nerve wracking, but definitely worth it because it kind of built up my what's it called, um, public speaking skills.
What keeps you going in this moment?
My family for sure, and also one of my best friends, who I went to school with, we're always like calling and chatting and just kind of providing support for one another. And whenever I have an issue, I kind of bring it to him or my family, and we always find a way to work it out. And yeah, that's definitely one thing that's keeping me going right now, especially with all the like conflict that's going on right now, especially that just like that constant support with them for sure.
What motivates you right now?
Mm, I would say again like my support system, but also especially now being able to like see how much and how much passion and like change is actually beginning to kind of come around, and seeing that kind of motivates me and makes me think I can actually like use my voice or use my influence of on like social media. While I don't have a lot of influence on social media, I can always just kind of see what's going on there and say like, oh, I can implement this into my own life, and kind of if there is any like conflict or anything like that, I kind of know how to educate myself. And like, you know, I guess that's really the main thing that motivates me is just seeing how much change is going on and how we can all do something to kind of like help the situation.
Now, what actions are you currently taking, either in personal life or career-wise, to help either your community or just yourself?
I think one of the main actions I've been taking has been to kind of um, like I use a lot of I use Instagram a lot, so seeing like articles or something that I like or that I feel like would benefit others, and kind of like using Instagram to kind of like tell others like and educate others on what's going on, because I also like to educate myself because I feel like I still have a lot to learn um, with the Black Lives Matter movement and also the COVID-19 uh, stuff that's going on. So I definitely think I think educating myself first before educating others is something that I have been doing a lot, but also practicing self-care because it's a lot to take in. So you need to give yourself a break once in a while.
What would you say to a future delegate, or probably somebody who's been a delegate? What advice would you give them? What advice worked for you at that time?
At the time, I feel the advice that worked for me was to just be yourself and to kind of let loose. Um, because if you don't let loose and everything and like step out of that comfort zone, whatever it may be, then you're gonna regret it later on. Because I know after my first year, I wanted to do more and kind of uh, involve myself more, so that way I could actually feel like I did something. Because after my first year, the second year I was actually able to get up on stage, perform, I guess, with my team or council. And while I was very anxious and nervous, I feel I got a lot out of it and began to kind of like build resistance to like being on like in front of a huge group, and that was something that was very out of my comfort zone. So I definitely would say to get out of your comfort zone and just do what you want to do, and kind of just let loose.
At the end of our interviews, we have the lightning round questions. So basically, I'll ask you a question and you can answer either one word or one sentence. If you want to elaborate, you can elaborate more. So the first question is, what is a book or a podcast you recommend to everybody?
Ooh, for books, I've heard of a good book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm waiting my turn. Called Refugee. Um, it's about three refugees and their stories, basically. Um, and podcasts, I haven't listened to it in a while, but Crime Junkies is really good. It's really good. It talks about like certain like crime cases, and it's just really interesting to hear.
What is a piece of advice you would say to your younger self or wish you had heard when you were younger?
To kind of to take risks, and kind of provide the like positive talk, saying like you got this, because I know for sure that I have I've always been an overthinker, so just learning to just kind of like be spontaneous and take a risk would have helped a lot if I was kind of back in the day.
What is a call to action you have for our listeners?
Um, to Well, given how everything is right now, I would definitely say to educate yourself on everything you are passionate about, because it is very important, and to educate yourself because you don't want to be called out later if someone ends up having the higher ground or whatever. But also, I would say if I would say to definitely vote and do as much as you can to bring about change, because it's definitely what is needed right now.
What or who are you most grateful for in this moment?
Um, I would say definitely my family, but especially my siblings, because they have kind of been making sure I stay on like on the right path and like keeping me motivated, and they support me a lot. But yeah, I would say that's what I'm most grateful for right now, because without them, I don't know what I would do. I don't know where I would be either.
I just want to acknowledge you because you went as a delegate, but then like now seeing you as a GC and how you connect with kids and how you interact, it's just you step into that role of just being a leader and not being so scared, not being so quiet. And so it's a pleasure working with you. I just want to thank you for your time. It was great. And I know there's going to be a lot that people will get from your story.
Thank you.